$2.3 million is the lifetime cost for an individual who does have an intellectual disability.
$2.3 million.
$2.3 million.
Who's picking up that tab?
I'm afraid often it's parents.
It's a big number, and the impact on parents varies state to state. Part of the reason? Insurance. If you have it and your child gets sick, you go to the doctor. If your child is diagnosed with autism, critically important therapies may not be covered. Slowly, though, things are changing because of one woman in South Carolina.
Hey, Sugar Booger.
Sometimes the simple things are the biggest.
Oh yeah, that's not small.
Lori Unum had to wait years to hear what most parents take for granted.
Ryan, I love you. Thank you. It's worth every ounce of effort, every dollar that we've spent, just to hear that.
To hear 3 words.
To hear 3 words.
Her son, Ryan, now 11, was diagnosed with autism around age 2.
It definitely derails and disrupts.
Lori was teaching law when Ryan was diagnosed. Her husband was practicing it. She wondered if she should quit her job.
Frankly, I didn't have that option, because if I quit my job to be home and be involved, we had no way to pay for the therapy.
Ryan was on the severe end of the autism spectrum. It was going to cost $70,000 a year.
Come on, Ryan, we're going to ride a bike.
The good news, the evidence was clear. Therapy, called applied behavior analysis, when used early and often, works. But for too many, it was out of reach.
And I could just empathize with how it must be, how it must feel as a parent to know that there's a treatment out there that could help your child, but not to be able to get it for your child just because you don't have the money.
All right, Ryan, will you draw a face?
Insurance companies were denying coverage. They said it was educational, experimental, and too costly. Lori got to work. She wrote Ryan's bill at her kitchen table.
I just had a hard time believing that if I could sit down face to face with the legislator and explain the situation that that some of their constituents were facing, that anybody would say no.
She would quickly realize it wouldn't be a slam dunk.
And one particular legislator in the middle of the testimony said, "Now what is autism really anyway? Isn't it just kind of a hyped up ADHD? And isn't it something the mothers did while they were pregnant, like drinking or smoking?"
It would take education and the grassroots lobbying of inspired parents. 18 months after Ryan's bill was introduced, the state legislature said yes, but someone else said no.
The governor of South Carolina decided to veto the bill.
Mark Sanford didn't like mandates, but by the next morning, dozens of parents were back at the state capitol in Columbia. They demanded a vote to challenge the veto. They got it.
It was unanimously overridden by the House and the Senate that day.
Ryan's bill was now Ryan's law. Insurance companies had to cover doctor-ordered therapies. The kind that has Ryan telling his mom, "I love you." The kind that has him riding a bike like any other 11-year-old.
That makes me incredibly proud. It was a day that we were never sure we would see, frankly.
Proving again, simple things often are the biggest.
We're 5 years into it now. We see what an enormous impact it has had on the daily lives of children with autism in South Carolina.
If you're wondering what this costs in insurance premiums, it's about 31 cents per member per month. Lori's relentless efforts sparked a movement across the country. 32 states now have similar health insurance reforms. North Carolina is not one of them. 4 years ago, a bill was introduced in the name of Christopher D'Amelio. It still hasn't passed. North Carolina House Speaker Tom Tillis tells us the legislature will take another look next year. Advocacy, awareness, and research takes money. On the morning of October 27th, ZMAX Dragway in Concord will host the 10th annual Walk Now for Autism Speaks. The hope is to make this year's the best one yet. Create a team, join one, or make a donation. We hope you can join us. You know, we started this half hour with the number 1. 1 in 88 diagnosed with autism. We'll leave you with 1, because it takes just one person to make a difference. You. Learn more at WBTV.com. From all of us here at News 3, thanks for joining us. Good night.